Hey everyone, this is the ThinkEnergy podcast, and I'm your host, Dan Seguin from Hydro Ottawa. Are you looking to better understand the fast-changing world of energy? Well, the ThinkEnergy podcast isn't your ordinary energy show. Every 2 weeks, we take you on a tour and discuss, through a communication lens, some of the coolest trends, emerging technologies, and latest innovations. So stay tuned as we explore some traditional and some quirky facets of this industry. This is the ThinkEnergy podcast. Bonjour tout le monde and bienvenue. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 7 of the ThinkEnergy podcast. For hundreds of years, communicators in the energy sector have been strategizing and racking their brains to find ways to increase the public knowledge and where energy comes from and how it works. And why should they care? It's what we in the business like to call energy literacy. Today's youth will be tomorrow's leaders, and if we're lucky, future energy advocates. As Whitney said, teach them well and they will lead the way. Beyond the classroom, energy literacy empowers us to make informed opinions about where our energy should come from and how it works. With the right approach, everyone can learn to care about becoming a responsible energy consumer. Hey, maybe it starts with the kids. So here's today's big question. Can hands-on energy education offer kids the chance to consume energy responsibly and play a role in protecting our planet? In this episode of ThinkEnergy, we'll chat with Wesley Normington, the Executive Director of Relay Education, a Canadian charity that delivers innovative hands-on programming about renewable energy to kids. Wesley is responsible for the organization's management, strategic leadership, and partnership development. Hey Wesley, welcome. Can we talk more about Relay's hands-on programming related to renewable energy and why you focus on educating kids?
Thanks for having me, Dan. Great question. I like to talk about my experience with my kids. A lot of the times I ask them, hey, what'd you do at school today? Mm-hmm. And most of the time they say, not much. Or they don't even answer me at all. But there is a third answer to that question that happens every so often, and it's much better. They'll come in the door, and before I've even asked the question, my son will just start talking about some geologist that came into school today, and they were playing with rocks, and he built a rock, or it might not have made total sense, but he was very excited, and something happened, and it was memorable. And that always sticks with me, and we at Relay try to have fun in the classroom, share memorable experiences with the kids, because of course, not only are they the future, and they're going to be the future leaders, and they're going to be the ones dealing with a lot of the problems that are happening today, they get their parents interested. They get their parents excited. And so we see that dual benefit and strongly believe that it's an important piece of the puzzle when we're addressing.
So the kids are becoming the influencers.
100%. And I think back to when I was a youth and we toured a recycling plant, and I went home and I became the lead recycler in the house, and that started to rub off on my parents and other family members. And I think it's sort of a similar approach for renewable energy.
Cool. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, listen, on your website, you state that Relay's programs increase understanding of the connection between STEM subjects, energy and environment. Just for those who might not know what STEM is, it's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. How do you do it? How do you make this fun for the kids, for students?
For sure. So at each grade level, we make sure that the workshops are linked to the curriculum for different STEM subjects.
Okay.
But then the key, of course, is making it fun. And for us, fun means hands-on activities. It means new and unique experiences. So we bring in model wind turbines, something kids probably haven't played with or done anything with before.
Yeah.
We bring in solar cars. They do different experiments in the morning that are very specific to the STEM topics that they're learning in the class already. But then we take that to the next level in the second part of those workshops, where they design and build their own wind turbines. They design and build their own solar cars.
How old do you have to be to do that?
You know, it's surprising. You don't have to be very old. Kids pick it up very quickly. And sort of the beauty of solar power and wind power are the technologies are actually very easy to use and to build systems with. So we've done it with kids in grade 1.
Really?
Our programs are grade 1 to grade 12.
Okay.
And, it's a little bit different at each level. But that's the key, is these new and interesting experiences, things that move, turbines move, the cars obviously move. And it's something they've done themselves, and they're very proud of it.
Okay. You're talking about kids. You've just actually talked about the age group here, the span. So is it safe to assume that you leverage social media to reach out to those kids, or is your social media more directed to the institutions? How do you leverage social media?
For sure. In a variety of ways. Teachers love to share pictures of our workshops in the classroom, and so we'll interact with teachers, and that obviously spreads to other school boards and institutions. We do have a careers program as well, the Green Collar Careers Program, and I would say that is where we tap into youth more directly, because we're sharing information on new and exciting environmental careers.
Okay.
And so you have kids at this stage in life where they're trying to figure out what they want to do, what education they want to pursue or career. And so we're able to provide information and engage them with opportunities around internships, mentorships, and things like that.
Can you talk to me about your flagship youth program, Kids World of Energy? From what I can see on your website, you've actually taught over 10,000 elementary kids about science and technology of energy. What's the biggest takeaway from that experience?
So actually, every year we have thousands of kids participate in the workshop, and so we're upwards of over 100,000 now from over the past 12 years. We do it in a variety of ways. We have facilitators go into the classroom and they deliver the workshops where the kids are designing and building renewable energy systems. We have a large festival every year in Toronto. And the biggest takeaway from that, again, is the excitement that the kids have from experiencing that technology firsthand. And we've seen the results are that this program is now coast to coast to coast. This year we've done it from Halifax to Vancouver to Nunavut and everywhere in between. So we've seen that the teachers really appreciate the educational component, but the kids also really enjoy it and get excited. And so for me, it's just seeing those kids, the no pun intended, the light bulb switch on for the kids when they see that they can generate electricity with just what Mother Nature provides.
Very, very interesting. From building cool solar cars, and I've seen those actually, they are fairly cool, to testing the wind turbines, what you were just talking about, to trying biogas experiment, that scares me here, trying biogas experiments in a classroom. You bring new experiences to schools. How has this contributed to the greater energy conversation in homes across Canada?
Yeah, so when we have those new technologies introduced to kids, and we have them participate and use them themselves, and it's very hands-on, and they do it in groups, and so they're working together. It builds that excitement, and so they bring that conversation home. And we're at a very critical juncture in terms of the energy conversation in this country. And it's so important for those conversations to happen at the household level. And so we know from the surveys that we do and the ongoing conversations we have with teachers and students is that when they go home, those conversations are happening, and they talk about what about putting solar panels on the roof, or just the general benefits of renewable energy, and then on the conservation side, of course, keeping the lights off, keeping their home cooled or heated at reasonable temperatures, and just all those little things that can add up. And so we know that those conversations are happening, and we think that it's still very important to provide the context and the information and the understanding of the importance of it.
Cool. Well, listen, let me ask you this. Great segue here on how those little ambassadors, how do these little ambassadors, with the help of relay education, help save our planet? Is it by creating greater awareness in the hope of finding that next superhero who's going to tackle these very complex issues?
I think that's part of it. You look at what's happening right now. Who's leading the charge and the dialogue and the conversation of climate change, for example, globally right now is youth. You see the climate strikes and things of that nature. They're the ones leading the conversation because they know they are going to inherit these challenges and also the opportunities. So not only are we hoping to inspire those leaders today and tomorrow, we also want them to recognize that there are tremendous economic opportunities and social opportunities through renewable energy and conservation and related technologies. And so it's a combination of that direct experience and understanding that there's a challenge, but there's things that they can do about it, and there's opportunities that come from that solution.
Very interesting. One last question, Wesley. What keeps you up at night?
That's a tough one. I would say it sort of changes. Right now, it's probably Kawhi Leonard's free agency status with the Toronto Raptors, but I think I've been working, I guess, in the renewable energy space for the charity for about 8 years now, and so as time goes on, these existential questions that we ask ourselves and are challenged by related to climate change and things like that have kept me up at night many times. So sometimes we try to focus on things that are a little more frivolous just to keep our mind off it. But for me, it really is the future for my kids, hoping that I'm doing what I can and the most that I can to provide a better future for them, and that they're going to be prepared for the challenges down the road.
Very noble. Thank you so much for joining us today. If someone wanted to reach out to you, how could they connect?
First of all, there's the website, relayeducation.com. We're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, Relay Education, and happy to answer any questions and bring our programs to any communities that would be willing to have us.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Think Energy. If so, please head on over to iTunes to rate, review, and subscribe. Also, be sure to tell your friends and colleagues about us. It's very much appreciated. We'd love to hear from you, so check us out on hydroottawa.com. Thank you for listening.